Hi brother, Shay here. The video today is about how to avoid going soft before sex. So you're in the heat of the moment, everything's fine, and then you come to having sex and the erection just goes. Or you go to reach for the condom and put that on and the same thing happens. I get that that is frustrating, it's not what you want to happen. So today I'm going to share a few instant tips that you can use to avoid this happening. Okay, first of all, it's important we talk about this is a normal thing to happen. It happens with many guys. Many guys experience this. And there's a few reasons as to why it's happening. One of those reasons is because our body is going into this fear, panic state, right? What if I can't stay hard? What if I can't have sex? What if I can't give pleasure to my partner? These types of thoughts start to come into our mind. And when we go into this fight or flight, which you may have heard of that phrase, when we go into that state, our blood is diverted away from our non-essential places in our body to the most important places, usually our brain. And so we can expect that in that moment, this is not an essential place in a fight or flight situation, and the blood goes away. So I know that doesn't make it easier, but at least you understand a bit more about why that happens in the moment, and to let you know that your body is actually doing what it is meant to be doing when we're in that kind of state. Obviously, we want to stop that from happening, which I'll come on to in a second. The instant tips that I mentioned, so I've had a think about this and I wrote down 3 things. The first one is focusing on giving pleasure to your partner. You'll notice that when we go into the mindset of what if I can't stay hard, what if I can't give pleasure, it's about us, right? Our focus is on ourselves. So we want to try and shift that so our focus comes away from ourselves and onto giving pleasure to our partner. Where do they like to be touched? Where do they like to be kissed? Where do they like to be hugged, squeezed, or whatever it may be? Some people like a hand around their shoulder, other people around their neck. These types of things, focusing on the smaller details of how I can give pleasure to my partner, kissing their body, etc. That's the first thing. Second thing, breathing. You'll see that I mention this a lot in our video, in the videos I post. The reason why is because breathing, it sounds so basic. Often the basic stuff is the best, is because it is the thing that calms our nervous system down the quickest. And when we're in that moment of panic, what do we need to do? We need to calm our nervous system down. Breathing's the most effective tool to do that. So something like taking a breath in for a count of 4 through the nose and then out for a count of 8 through the mouth, doing that 2-3 times. This type of breathing is very effective to reduce this feeling of panic. And then the third thing is to take your time. Many guys that I speak with, it's very easy for us to get into this state of all or nothing, right? It's the heat of the moment. I need to be able to just get this done, get it over and done with, is sometimes how it can feel. And we want to try and avoid that and just taking time, right? Spending time building intimacy, building the bond, building connection, because that way we are staying more in a turned on intimate mindset as opposed to all or nothing. If I don't get this right, then I fail mindset. So you can just see the differences there. Okay, now those 3 things you may have already tried. And those 3 things, I also have to say, they're not 100% guarantee that that's going to work. You may try some of these things and it helps a bit with erection quality, or it really helps, or it doesn't help at all. There's going to be a few different options. I know that's not what you want to hear. I know we want there to be an instant, something that just sorts it and fixes it. I think you and I both know that it's not as simple as that, or else it would have been discovered by now. But these 3 tips will go some way to help him. And then of course there's things like pills, etc., which I don't recommend because it is not sustainable, and usually it just covers the symptoms. We're not addressing the cause. So how do we address the cause so that we don't go into this fight or flight panic state ever again, and so that we can have sex with confidence, the type of sex that you deserve to have? And to be able to do that, we need to understand, why is the fear showing up in the first place? Where is it coming from? And so that you can do that, understand where the fear is coming from, I've developed something called the Performance Anxiety Quiz. This is 10 very simple yes or no questions that you answer yourself This will take you less than 2 minutes to complete. And then I will show you what your score is, along with what does it mean, where is this coming from, and what to do about it. So if that sounds good to you, then below in the comments, you'll see a link to the performance anxiety quiz. The 3 tips that I gave, I recommend that you do those and this quiz. Okay, so that you're doing something that's more of a short-term fix, and then also working on getting this sorted for the long term so that you can avoid permanent erection problems. So it's time to do this. Head below, click on that link to the performance anxiety quiz, answer those 10 yes or no questions. I will see you there, and then I'll share your score with you and show you what it means.